This is that was Wayne Bergeron,
That's nice.
the hipster from his Plays Well with Others album. Okay, so I think we are live finally. It took me a minute to get it together.
There we go.
Yeah, it's been a while.
I'm going to share this.
It's been a while, man. All right.
Close that. Let me see.
Okay.
Save video. How do I set up a? Let me see. How do I set up a live stream here?
Yeah, so everybody can watch. I know people are watching this, figure out what we're doing.
That doesn't work.
Oh, I want to.
It doesn't work.
Watch the comments. Okay, so I'm loading comments. Oh, so Cha-Cha's with us. Hey.
That was fast.
No. Oh, she says there's no sound. Hey, there's no sound. Oh. Okay.
I got sound over here.
Cha-Cha, are you hearing us?
I got.
Are we on? You do?
Yeah. When I.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
She says she has sound now. Okay.
I'm trying to. I'm trying to share.
Well,
share the live stream, and I'm not sure it's not working. Find support, turn off, and follow. It's not working. Share.
It's not
share
working
now.
Okay.
Let's see if that works.
Hey, Bill. Okay, so I'm looking at people. Let me just say, I've never been a real professional at this.
There we go. Okay, that's working.
You got it going?
Yeah, and everything's delayed.
Okay.
I can't look at these screens because they're just and also I just got to look at your left picture because everything else is fuzzy. But
everything is fuzzy.
No, when I look down at the Facebook feeds, everything's clear, but I'm all pixelated on my. I don't.
Right, my monitor is the same as well.
So hey, everybody, we got I don't know, 10 people, 11 people.
Well, there's a few people looking.
Heck is here.
And we got some comments going. So here's the thing, Tom. We talked about a little bit about having a guest, but we
go ahead. Yes,
we're fine. We don't need any big time guests. We're big time ourselves. You're big time. Tower of Power.
Big time. It's sitting on my couch. I'm a big time amateur golfer. I have a fairly weekly presence at Trader Joe's.
What I do? When I go out, I go to the grocery store. The other night, I was sitting and I said, I need to get out. So I got in my car and I drove to the grocery store. And I only got like 3 things, but I was there like 20 minutes because I was just walking around, wandering, talking to some people. That was like my night out. That was my social event.
Now, is it the same in LA? Now, I'm lucky because a Trader Joe's just opened up less than a year ago. About a driver and a 5-iron from my balcony down the hill. I mean, that's close. It's like half a mile.
A driver with a 5-iron. A driver and a 5-iron.
Might be a driver 3-wood and a wedge. But that Trader Joe's, I noticed if I go at 5 to 6, there's a line out. But if I just go at 7:30 or 8, it's empty. It's like all this, my community here in San Ramon. Same with Costco. If I just want to go when no people are there, at the beginning of COVID, I was taking advantage of those senior hours. That's right, folks. I'm a senior. Yes, I like that.
Yeah, and let me just say, you are older than me.
Yes, I am. By you? Oh no, by June.
Month.
You're in June. You're in June or May?
June.
June. I thought so. Yeah, March, April, May, June. So 3 months older than you. That's right.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what 63 looks like in a couple months.
So, hey, have you been? Are you practicing? Are you playing your horn?
I was. I haven't played my horn much since December, except for I'm very grateful that Tony Lindsay and also Roger Smith had stuff for me that they wanted me to record. So, of course, when they tell me that, I go into panic mode, and then I get out my horn and I play it at least an hour a day, go over their tunes, and I'm very happy that I'm pretty happy with both of those sessions I did for both of those guys. I like what I played, and that's rare. I mean, and it was, they were both in the funk realm, smooth jazz realm, so it's right up my alley. It wasn't like they wanted me to play a really hard jazz tune, which I would probably just turn down at this point. I just go like, yeah, and give me a month. I could work that up in a month, and it's kind of been in January. I go like, okay, new year, everything's changing. Thank you. And I got to start practicing again. So I picked up my horn the other day for about a half hour, and so I'm going to try to pick it up for 20 minutes or a half hour a day. And in my experience with practicing is if I just pick it up for 20 minutes every day, I'll probably end up playing it for an hour, because after a week or so, that's what happens. And the hardest thing, and I think everybody can relate to this, the hardest thing is always just starting. You're getting past the first week of doing something you haven't been doing. It's like in November, I was working out every day and lost a bunch of weight. And I did this little program that was on YouTube, and it was kind of one of those things that was a challenge. Challenge, on a YouTube fitness instructor, and it was great. It was really hard at first, and I did the whole thing, and I ended up losing almost 10 pounds in a month.
Nice.
Yeah, eating really right. And then after that, I kind of said, no, I think I'll take a break. And the break's still been going a little too long.
When I think of workout videos that you can see on TV, you know what I flash to are the Jane Fonda workout videos from, what was that, the 70s or 80s?
Richard Simmons.
Richard. Oh man,
Jane's great. I mean, she looks, she's still super fit.
Yeah,
and I know she's super rich and she can get work done, but despite getting work done, she still looks really great.
Okay, so I'm turning up my volume. You know what I got to tell you, Tom? Having this screenshot is making me uncomfortable.
By the way, this is what I recommend. Do you like grapefruit?
No.
No. I get Trader Joe's grapefruit sparkling water with Trader Joe's grapefruit Italian soda, and I put like a little bit of the grapefruit soda and the rest fizzy water, so it's not too much sugar.
Well, let me just say, as healthy as I'd like to pretend I am, for the last when this pandemic thing started last March, I have had an excess amount of sugar.
Really? I got sugar. By the way, what I'm doing, folks, is I'm looking at just looking at the comments here.
Yeah, I'm looking at them too. So you know what? Nobody has any gigs, actually. Really,
nobody has any gigs. No. I mean,
and
I'm doing stuff online and asking for tips, but it's really nobody's making any money or really supporting themselves doing that.
No,
people might be doing okay, people who are teaching online lessons, stuff like that. So,
yeah. You know what's really interesting? I've left my TV on, and I have.
Is Mackenzie not there?
No, Mackenzie's not here.
We're turning the TV off.
I just had to shut the door. Okay, so back to the sugar. so since the pandemic started, as those of you who were watching back when I was doing a lot of these, Mackenzie and I would take these drives and we would get donuts. And let me just say, now when we don't drive, we just walk up there and get donuts and walk back. And my sugar intake has increased a little too much. I need to back off on my sugar intake a little bit.
Philip, man, you are Philip Wack. Yeah, Philip, I'll tell you what, man, I'll hire you to be my trainer. You know Philip Wack, great saxophone player. He just moved to LA. Maybe you'll meet him now. He moved to LA, and he's been.
Oh, okay.
We put. Let's see. Was it Maceo? No, did I meet you with? Yeah, Maceo. Weren't you playing tenor with Maceo? That's where I met you. Yeah, and Philip's great, but Philip is a. I mean, he's a he-man, man. He's just a gym rat. He's like, lifts weights. He's got that discipline. I used to have that, but you're a young man. You're much younger than me, Philip. I used to be in that kind of shape.
You're still a young man.
But I can put a golf ball 275 yards. So that.
Hey, so listen. The golfing is like one of the things that you can do and get a little bit of exercise and not have to mingle with people too much.
Yeah, it's just safe when you're outside. It's the virus doesn't transmit very much outside. You can keep your distance really easily. Where I play too, it's always really pretty breezy. So I just stay upwind of everybody. Actually, I am kind of aware of that a lot of the time. When people get close to me, I always kind of make note of which way the wind's blowing. Like if somebody gets close to you and the wind's blowing at them, that's fine. I don't even worry about it. Anything is going behind them, but if it's the other way around, I'll change my angle. I don't think anybody else does that I play with, but I do.
Interesting.
I do. I mean, I'm just always aware of that. Even if I get this virus and I'm not very sick, I still don't want to get it.
Yeah, right.
I'm the only person that takes care of me. So.
Yeah, somebody who just wrote, Wilson Brooks. You know Wilson Brooks?
Yeah, Wilson. I miss Wilson. I miss playing with you, Wilson. Funky man.
Wilson, do you bike ride? I bike ride. I bike ride almost every day.
I don't own a bicycle, and it's something I've been meaning to purchase, but I kind of was thinking about it a year ago, last December, looking at bikes to buy. And then when I'm not buying anything when I lost my job. I'm not spending any extra money.
Yeah,
can't do that.
Yeah, you know what I've done, because I've stopped paying a number of my bills, and I have a little bit of extra money. If I got extra money, I
extra money.
Well, yeah, I bought a new garden hose. Okay.
Unless wait a second. There could be extra money coming. There could be extra money.
Hey,
there could be one of these numbers could be the big winner. I could be a freaking well, technically a billionaire, but not after taxes.
How much what's the jackpot up to?
$1 billion, over $1 billion.
Are you kidding me?
No, I got so the I don't know how many of you got your $600 stimulus check.
I'm not getting one.
Well, I got it, and I'm glad because I need it. But the way they sent it was in a Visa debit card. Activated today, and had $600 on it, and so I splurged and bought 20 tickets, which is $40 because it's $2 a ticket. But what the hell? At least you keep a little bit. So I mean, think of buying one ticket's really. I mean, it's all a waste of time. It really is. I mean, the chances are millions and millions to one. But somebody's got to win, right?
Well, I'm guessing if everybody on here, everybody watching, we got like 29 people watching. You
we
know,
do?
yeah, we got 30 people. And if we all start thinking Tom's the winner, Tom's a winner, Tom's a winner, and then you win, you'll share it with all of us.
I'll tell you what, I'll cut you all in for $250,000.
Perfect, man. I'd be happy with 1,000.
Yeah, it's like less than $10 million. Absolutely. $250,000.
Hey,
and this is on record. If you go back and look at this on instant replay, we can see who was watching, right?
What was that?
If like this stream is like available after we're done talking.
Oh, yeah, right.
And when you look at it, you can see all the comments again, right?
Correct.
Okay, so I can double check and see who's on. All right.
See, that's what I stopped listening because I looked at Tom is a winner. Tom's a winner. Everybody's in. Everybody's doing it. They're visualizing you winning this money.
We have Bilta from Germany. You're up early. What time is it in Germany here?
What time is it? I'll look. I'll have to look on my.
No, it's not that early. It's still before sunrise, though.
Yeah,
it's
6.
7. No,
7 in the morning.
Wait a second. We're off daylight savings time, so it's 9. Pretty sure it's 9 without doing the math.
Hey, well,
because they go on day. Yes, no, it does. It stays the same because they go on daylight savings time too. Not to change the subject, I can't wait to daylight savings time.
I don't like the dark. I don't like the dark.
So my fellow Californians online, I believe we had a proposition on the ballot about 2 years ago to make daylight savings time permanent. Do you remember that, Jeff?
Yeah, we would. In essence, we'd be like Arizona.
Exact. In essence, we'd be like Arizona. We would not fall back or spring forward. We would always be in spring forward mode. And that proposition passed by about 67%. 2/3 of the people voted to do that. And then I heard some bullshit about, well, it's going to take us some time to implement that. I go, like, what's there to implement? Time is like an agreed upon reality. All we just say is we all agree that the clock doesn't change. What's there to do? I've been meaning to, I keep forgetting who my state assemblyman and senator, but call them up and say, what's the deal with the prop? I mean, why can't we just,
when you get up when the sun comes up, it doesn't matter what time it is. You still get up when the sun comes up, right?
Really? It's exactly. Anyway,
it has to be approved by the Fed.
So you also have a point in where I shouldn't complain, because if I just go by and forget about what the clock says, it's all kind of a relative fantasy world of time.
Right.
Time's such a weird thing, not to get all metaphysical, well, not metaphysical, get into physics of time, how that works, which is,
Yeah, I just never understood it. I don't understand how by switching the clocks, it gives people more time. It doesn't give people more time. The daylight is still the same amount of time.
Eric Bolden's watching. He says it has to be by the feds. Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Brooks Gregory said the same thing.
That's
Tom, this is kind of fun. We haven't really interacted much for the last 6. We talked a few times, but the first few months we were all sort of shell shocked. And then the last 4 months, 5 months for me has, with all of the stuff going on with the government and not working and the shutdown here in Los Angeles, it was just too much to try to think about coming and doing a live stream thing and being happy. I wasn't really happy. It just felt like it's just
No,
not the right.
I remember talking with you, in our private conversations. You were just, yeah, you were struggling emotionally. A
Yeah.
lot of us were.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that a lot of people were, because this is really interesting when we're talking about acts of Congress. So, um, uh, today, when Biden was talking, and he was talking about what he plans to do for those out of work, he was talking to me and talking to all of us in the industry. Our entertainment industry has been hit really hard. We've been really crushed. And when he's talking about helping us, he's making it. He was talking to me at the same time while he was
No one's
talking.
been more crushed than us. There are
Right.
people who've been crushed,
Wow.
but not more.
Right. I mean, a lot of people are being crushed, but our industry is, it's gone for the moment. And while he was talking, my son Cody called me and said, "Hey, Dad, I'm playing the lotto and I'm going to win, and I'll give you $2 million." I said, "Well, then what am I listening to Biden for?" I mean, the interesting thing is, if you have the money and you are affluent or you are working, everything that he says is irrelevant. He's not even talking to you. He's really talking to us who don't have the means to do it right now. And the people that have the means don't really give a rat's butt.
Like we mentioned to you earlier, my friend Rory, who's worked as a teacher, a high school teacher, then college teacher, was very smart financially, saved his money, invested his money, retired a number of years ago, has a really good 401k. It's mostly paid off his house, which is worth a lot of money. He's doing great. And we haven't seen him for a while. We played golf on Wednesday. And he says, "Yeah, this damn thing." He's like, "I got this $600, stimulus thing." He goes, "What's wrong with him? I don't need the money." He goes, "I really don't need the money." So I give this money to somebody who needs it. So I don't need it. So I said, "Well, give it to me then." Yeah. But seriously, I got that, So it's like, and then he was like totally serious. He's like, "I don't want this money, I mean, he didn't apply for anything, He didn't need an employment or anything. He's fine. He planned his life financially. He did really well. He saved his money. He planned for this retirement, and he's getting money from the government anyway. Which is they should. I don't know. There's got to be a way to do that better.
Well, I think it's really interesting that there are some people that get the money pretty quickly, and like Rory, that's who you're talking about. Rory, right?
I've gotten everything pretty tight in a timely manner.
And yet, then there are others that don't get it, or if it comes weeks later. It's kind of. But what I want to say is, a lot of these people that are on with us right now, and I'm paying attention to them commenting, and these are all people that I met and have gotten to know, if not in person, but through Facebook and chats here last year when we were doing our Friday night hangs and we were having guests on, and we had Bob Mincer, who I would plan on having the whole group of the Yellow Jackets on at some point. They've all agreed to do that at some point. Oh, hey, if Fred calls, I'm not answering the phone.
I just thought Fred was watching, and I'm just wondering if he wants, man, I'm available, Fred, if you need some cheap labor for your cornfields in the backyard. If you, I mean, I'm not working. I'll work really cheap. Just, you can pay me under the table. I'll work for your cooking. I'll work.
You know what?
Work for
Okay.
your meals.
All right. So here's the other thing and I want to do this right now. I want everybody watching now. All of these people watching, I've come to know a little bit, and it's through this show and through you. A lot of these people are your friends, that have come to know me. And we had the best time with Fred on the show. Now, I want to do a cooking show, and I've been on Fred about this for a long time, and I want to call it "What's Cooking with Fred."
Oh, that'd be cool.
Make him cook, and do it, and he's going to sing while he cooks. He's going to put on a little tutu.
Fred would be great at that. Fred's a great cook. Fred's a great singer. Great singer, great musician, and a great cook, and he could carry that show.
Well, you know what? But he's going to plant some crops. You know what? He's got some cows out there too that would probably
all his ingredients will be, his own sourced from his own land.
There you go. And he can hire you to come out and help him do that.
I'll pick up eggs and milk the cows, and I'm a huge animal lover. So I mean, I don't have a problem with any animal, and some of them I still have to learn. I mean, I don't know a whole lot about sheep and chickens are sheep. Cows are pretty. I have milked a cow once, a long time ago.
You have?
I have milked a cow. It was a long time ago, and it's not that hard. And I do know horses a little bit. I used to ride a long time ago, ancient history, but I'm not completely unfamiliar with the horse. And another animal I love dearly.
I've got this. This is what we do. We do the first one we do is we have Fred show us one of his best barbecue recipes, and he does it outside on the grill. We put some cows in the background, and you can come and play your sax, and and Fred can sing, and he'll cook, and then we'll sit and eat. It'll be a thing.
You're gonna have to play the drums.
Yeah. Hey, no,
you still remember how?
No,
you remember how?
The last time I touched a pair of sticks and played was on David Garibaldi's drums.
Oh, when you were doing sound a year and 3-4 months ago.
Yeah,
in Brooklyn.
And you sat and watched me, man. And boy, did those drums sound so good, man! It was so fun just things. Man,
really great at tuning his drums.
Yeah, that was fun. So, hey, chickens. My neighbor across the street bought chickens. They were mail order chickens. Do you remember there was a time when there was a story when the post office was slowing everything down, and a lot of animals were dying, and it was because there really is a mail order chicken thing where you can order chickens online. They would mail them to you, and they come in these little crates. My neighbor across the street ordered 6 of them, and this was last summer before the whole post office thing slowed down. Their chickens are laying eggs, and they get up and they have fresh eggs now in the mornings. How about that in Burbank?
That's really cool. There's a friend of mine that I met through other friends, a guy named Gardner Cole, who's a really great musician. He wrote I forget, I should actually know better what tunes Gardner wrote. But Gardner did really well in the music business, and he bought, I think, about 2 acres a long time ago in Scottsdale, Arizona. And he's got pigs and horses and ponies, and he's got lamb and a big ram, and he's got a whole thing of eggs. And lately he's been posting, his egg haul every morning. And I didn't know that some hens lay blue eggs.
Hey, did I say I would answer the phone if Fred called?
Yeah. Is that Fred? Call, yeah.
Oh, we really got to talk to him?
Of course we do.
You don't really have to. I just
hold on. I'm not hearing him. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on. Okay, say something, Fred.
What do you want me to say? You want me to start? Well, I wasn't going to do that because you have an audience, but I just kind of got tired of all the little cows and horses jokes that were about to start.
Well, that's how we get you to call in.
Say what?
Hey, listen, can everybody hear Fred?
Probably not.
Well, it's probably.
Yes,
Now.
Okay, I'm making some adjustments over here. I'm making some adjustments because when Fred calls, we probably should talk to him.
Of course.
No, we don't really have to. I just wanted to call and say thanks for the plugs, but don't start anything because I know how you and Tom are, especially when
Fred, can you hear me, Fred?
It's abuse time.
Can you hear me, Fred?
I can hear you, Tom.
So I was thinking about this cooking show we were talking about, the Fred Ross cooking show.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think one of the things, like if you're making like a souffle or an egg dish, it'd be really cool if you got your nunchucks up and you would actually just gently crack the eggs.
No, we don't do all that. See, you go too far. See, no. See, first thing we do, now you want to bring that up. See, this is why I shouldn't call it, because of drama like this. See, I love you, Tom, but what's wrong?
Why are you embarrassed? Because you know how to use nunchucks. You know how to use them. Fred knows how to use them.
Hey, Fred. Let me just say. If we start this cooking show and I get the camera going, I promise I'll be really nice to you for at least the first 15 minutes.
Okay. You got the deal. I'd love to do this. I think it'd be fun. Yeah, and I will sing, but I'm gonna have to do something about you have to, because you're hard to stop once you get going, and that's your favorite thing to do to your buddy Fred Ross, isn't it?
Yeah. What?
You heard me.
I gotta be honest with anybody watching. If they saw the show with Tom and Tony, Lindsay and Fred last year, and then me with Fred and Tom and Tony calling in, I gotta say, it's really hard for me to not give Fred shit.
I know.
It's really hard for me to not give Fred shit. I don't know why.
I don't bring that up in anyone but you.
Wait,
everybody else.
It's because Fred takes it so well.
And Tom's not too far behind you. That's the scary part.
Hey,
and it's funny
Fred, let me share something with you. So when I'm on the bus, especially early on in Tower, and certain guys would be ribbing me, might be David Garibaldi, people are ribbing me, and then I might be sitting next to Doc, and Doc could see like it's getting to me a little bit. Doc would nudge me and lean over to me and goes, "That's because they like you." And that's my point. That's because we like you.
I could totally hear that.
That's why we give you.
Okay, so we've got. Hey, Fred, I love you, man.
I love you too, man. And on that note, I'm just going to tell you, I got to go.
Why?
Because I have things that I really need to be working on right now. I know what you're going to do is start having more fun with me. And guess what?
Okay. Before you go, what are the last 3 meals you cooked?
Tom, you stay out of this. I'm talking to Jeff right now.
I want to know the last 3 meals you cooked.
Yeah. See, this is why I don't want to stay on, because it's been all crazy, and everybody just listening is going, "What is wrong with these cats?" So on that note, I'll catch you guys maybe a little later if you're still on. If not, have a great weekend. Have a great weekend.
Okay, Fred, I'll be calling. I'll have my production team call you and set up your house.
No, for real. Sure, seriously, I'd love to do it, man. I think it'd be fun. I think even people would enjoy it.
Okay, so now we have witnesses. We have witnesses all watching this that know we're going to do it. We've already got our baked in.
That's right.
There's interest from at least 3 or 4 people.
Well,
okay, Okay, see it? Okay, gotta go. Love you guys. You guys, they're great.
Fred.
You know
All right.
who you are. Love you guys.
See you,
Hey,
Fred.
man, I'll talk to you soon, Jeff. And take care of Tom, which is silly. So,
Okay.
have a good one, gang. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good to hear you. That was really nice.
That was. Well, you know what? You know why Fred had to call? Because he couldn't take all the talk about the chickens and the cows and the hen, all the.
Well, Tony really started that, and I'm going to put that on Tony because I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's actually was perfect. But I don't actually think you live in the sticks, but
Well, it pretty much is.
It's rural instead of urban. Yes, it's definitely rural, but it's pretty. You can get into the middle of the whole mess in less than an hour. So,
Yeah.
Well, you're in the middle of it. You're in the middle of mass. So what is going on, Deb? So if you don't know, Jeff lives in Burbank, in the middle of one of the most densely populated places on the planet, and
Burbank.
one of the worst, where 1 out of 10 people have COVID, testing positive for COVID.
I think it's less than that. I think it's
1 out of wow.
I last I heard it was less than 1 out of 10.
Yeah.
When we were talking the other day, I don't really see it where I live in my immediate community. In all honesty, Burbank, if anyone has ever been to Southern California and you get out and you drive around, Burbank is probably the hickest town in the entire area. And
Really?
It really is. And I mean that in the sense of that we're positioned in a way that the town has stayed the same. It's in this little corner of the valley. And when you go to City Hall or the police station or to the library, there are many, many people that grow up in Burbank and stay here. There are teachers that have taught at Burbank their entire lives. Their kids still live here, went to high schools. And it's one of those, believe it or not, little bit of a smaller, it almost feels like it's out in the middle of the state based on how people grow up here and stay here.
I see.
And
at the same time, major TV and film studios that have been there for a long time in that town.
Right. And here's how I would, this is how I would describe it. Is
Burbank,
So the Carson Leno studio is 2 long blocks from my house. I'm half a block from Disney, and Warner Brothers is a mile, not quite a mile.
Universal Burbank or LA
is what?
Universal Studios.
Universal Studios is sort of Universal City. It's at the bottom of North Hollywood.
That's North Hollywood, okay.
Right, but it's still only 2 miles from me.
Yeah, I know.
Right, and DreamWorks is.
I know where you
2.
live.
Yeah. So, well, here's the thing that's really interesting about Burbank is a lot of the people in Burbank are not like the stars of the shows, but they're the production staff. They're art directors, set directors, gaffers, lighting guys.
Right.
They're the sort of the blue collar side of the whole studio, of the support studios.
Right.
And so it's really kind of an interesting little town. Like almost everybody on my street has something to do in the entertainment industry of some sort. A film guy, a camera guy, a video guy, runs video walls.
Right. And also, when you look at these little office buildings and you look at the list of what's there, and a lot of guys have these little, video production guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys who, aren't, get contracted down the ladder of stuff that they need in movies.
Right.
It's right. Pretty amazing.
If you ever watched Deadliest Catch?
Yes, I have.
The main production office of that company that started that is in Burbank.
Wow. And, have you ever watched? Let me see, like the Wahlbergs, that show, the
Yeah.
Wahlbergs, or that show that was on. I think it was about the real life in prisons. It was about 10 years ago, 20. You know, it was about real life. Well, uh, my friend Rasha, who I've known since kindergarten. And then he got a degree from Stanford in communications, started a production company called 44 Blue. And he lives in North Hollywood and really close to you.
Mm-hmm.
And his company, you know, he worked his butt off and produced a whole bunch. If you go to 44 Blue on the internet, you'll see all the shows he's done. And he got, you know, pretty successful in his little niche, you know, produced a lot of shows for TV and cable TV and History Channel, Animal Planet, yeah, all cable, you know, cable shows. I think for Netflix, I think they did, you know, and it's kind of interesting, you know, because we've stayed friends all this time. What did I miss?
Oh, John Worley is on. Ook flop.
Ook flop, yeah.
The my next door neighbor,
yeah.
The next door neighbor just to my left as I'm sitting here was the art director for Penn and Teller's TV show.
That was good. Yeah, it was really interesting. I enjoyed that one. I didn't watch many of the shows. Speaking of shows, be interesting people commenting on obviously a lot of us stuck at home more. Even if we're still working, we're working from home. One of the ways is streaming videos, and for me, like the Queen's Gambit was unbelievable. Oh, our screen just changed. We changed. We went to the long view instead of the close view.
Yeah, and the reason I did that is because
that's fine. I thought it was.
I put my
yeah, man. Oh, sorry.
Oh, here. Okay, so watch this.
Okay. It's okay. I'm gonna go do that. But the Queen's Gambit. How many of you have seen that? What did John say? Hey, John, it's nice to see you. Nice to see your text, John.
Okay, so what we have to do is one of the things that we've been able to we know that music. I really think that there isn't going to be any kind of a lot of really live concerts, at least for another 6 months. There are a few things hit or miss where some bands are being able to play. Not really this winter, but there are a few outdoor things. Still, in Los Angeles, anything that gathers people together is squashed. If you get people together at your house and the neighbors report you, they will come over and turn your electricity off until people leave.
Good. As far as I'm concerned, that's my attitude.
Yeah.
I mean,
so
here's the thing is like, okay, I'm getting on my soapbox here, whoever's listening.
Oh.
I live by myself. I've been effing, people go, oh, I'm alone all the time. It's like, I mean, I don't know. I love being alone. I enjoy my alone time. It was weird that I couldn't do other things and I couldn't go play. That had a big effect on me. But I've adjusted pretty well and I'm fine. It's like if everybody just in the beginning, if we have some guidance to say, look, just stay home. It's like, I know we're like this huge country. It's hard on this country. And I've had these conversations with like, New Zealand was it's easy to do it with a country that's only got 8 or 10 million people. New Zealand is isolated. It's only got 8 or 10 million people. They actually love their prime minister, who's I forget her name, but she's a woman in her early 40s. And when she locked down the country, nobody complained there. I mean, she's the person also. I see how many people know that when they had that shooting in Christchurch, which is the most city on the southern island of New Zealand, she just put a ban on I forget what the ban was, but like everybody in the country in the government was like, yes, that's what we have to do. Same thing happened in Australia. And, people can still have guns in those countries. They just have to, register them and stuff, But it's work. Now, theoretically, that could work in a country with 330 million people with a whole bunch of different ideologies. But yeah, I get why it doesn't work here. I get it. It's just, we got, we might get there. Hopefully, I hope we get there. People realize that they don't need to have assault rifles. I mean, people like me, I think it would be, I don't want an assault rifle. I think it'd be fun to go to a shooting range and shoot one. Because,
it might be kind of fun to shoot at a target.
At a target. I've shot at targets before. I shot a gun before. I don't own a gun, but I've shot guns. And I've shot a shotgun. I know lots of people who have guns.
A lot of people have guns. Some of the wrong people have guns.
Who have guns.
Hey, so
a lot of them are actually liberals too. They're not all.
This is true.
I know plenty of liberals who have guns.
Hey, Tom, do you know Kathy Joy?
A bit, yes, I do. Not well.
I've come to know her as KJ.
Okay.
And her friend Harry. They're doing some big trips, and I think that they ought to take us with them. I've just recently tested negative for COVID. Doesn't mean my mental state is good, but I'm crazy, but but I'm free from the COVID.
Yeah. I can't tell people what to do. I'm not going to tell people what to do. Hey,
yes.
I just personally, just for me, I love driving, and I don't want to get on a plane. I've flown so many miles in the last 20 years and been on a plane. It's kind of been nice to have a break from flying in a plane, but also, like I said, I'm the only person that takes care of myself. I as much as it would be fun to have all this time off and fly somewhere, and I do have frequent flyer miles, and they're packed, I don't need to do that. I just don't need to do that. I would like to do that, but I don't need to. You know what I can do, though? I can get in the car and I can drive anywhere I want. I mean, not that I'm ready to drive 2,000 miles but maybe when the weather gets better, I'll go see Yellowstone again. I'm still watching.
Hey, I still have my Mustang. I haven't been making payments, and they're a little mad at me, but I still have the car.
Okay.
So,
can't get any luggage in that car.
No.
It's small. I know that car.
Oh man, it's so tough to drive. You gotta. What's that?
If two people are going on a trip in a Mustang, you got to pack light.
Yeah, you can't fit a lot of stuff in it.
I don't know if my golf clubs will fit in the trunk.
I
can go to the small golf bag, and I can go.
You can put the back seat down. We could put the back seat down and slide it.
Oh, that'll work.
Back seats will fall down. Mm-hmm. The back seats. I don't even know why they put back seats in there, because you can't fit anybody in there. In the back.
I think my RDX would be better if we're going to do a road trip.
Yeah, but the Mustang is really fun to drive.
It's fun to drive, but if you're on the road, believe me, the RDX is a great road car. It's really quiet. It rides really smooth. It's a little higher up.
You can drive.
Not sexy like it's not sexy, but it's not slow either.
Okay.
All right. Got some pickup. It's got 278 horses.
Oh, geez.
That's not nothing.
It's not.
No.
So I say I call shotgun. Jeannie, I call shotgun. Okay, so now we got everybody thinking about trips.
Okay.
So what, how are we going to be able to ever do live events again? Can we go,
for sure. I guarantee you, a year from April, we'll be doing gigs.
You think a year from April?
Yeah, for sure. Like a year and 3 months, for sure. Everything's going to be. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen to me, but
Right.
Personally, but I know that I can kind of assure the general public that Tower will be ready to play when we can play again.
When you can, yeah. When the gig comes.
Assuming we may have to relearn how to play our instruments, but we'll those will be really cool first gigs to see. You see the first,
yeah.
If you get to see the first gig of Tower Power after,
dude,
that'll be great because you might hear some really epic clams. Which, by the way, that's music talk for mistakes. By the way, clams. That's what we call them, clams. Yeah, you might hear some really epic clams and some just space outs. Probably not the first show so much, but like the second night or third night, you might hear some really, really great mistakes. I made a couple in my 19 years with the band. I made like 3 really, really big turds. You know, and would you like to hear about my most memorable turd?
Bring it.
So the ride out, I'm assuming everybody knows the ride out to which tune was it? Was it Sure As I Stand Here? Ballad in 3. God, I haven't thought about our tunes.
Don't change.
I'm spacing out on the name of the tune, but there's like we do. It's like do pop.
Surely as I stand here.
No, that's the other one. Pop. So anyway, we do these hits.
I know which one you're talking about. Yeah, I forgot the name of it too, though.
Bars. So we go do pop, and then me out in the middle. We just go bop, like 2 bars early, like in the middle of nowhere. And we were playing it at the Tokyo Blue Note, and I hit that note like I always do, as hard and fat as I could. And I just hit this big note, and everybody in the horn section couldn't help but go like, it's funny because I just sat there and I just raised my hand.
Yeah. It's like when you like a basketball player when he fouls a guy because it was me.
I just went like this. You kept going.
Oh man.
It's weird. That was back in 2010, probably.
Okay, so I think the name of that song was Just When We Start Making It.
No.
No. Okay.
I'm not even thinking about what the name was now.
Anyway, so I would want to see Willing to Learn.
I actually put some effort into remembering Willing to Learn.
Yeah, that's a good song. I like that. So
all those old songs are good.
I love Tower of Power's book, man. Like all of the songs. It doesn't matter which one it is. I like it.
I don't hate any of them, but I love all of the ones from the 70s.
Yeah.
Love them.
Absolutely.
And love a lot of songs after that too. In fact, if we're talking about Tower, one of the unsung records that we've ever done is the Oakland Zone, which was the first album I played on. And I think that's a really good record and has some really amazing moments on it. I think one of the hippest tunes is Page One off Oakland Zone. That is a friggin' hip tune. Hey, you want to play it? Are you looking to play it?
I'm looking to play it.
That tune is so friggin' hip. I mean, I always said we played it and people would look at us because I swear people would be like, well, they wouldn't kind of get it. If that tune had been put out in the 70s, people would get it now. But it definitely, to me, emulates those tunes from the 70s. It's just so hip. There's a great arrangement by Norbert Stachel, who is one of my dear friends and who helped me get in the band when he left.
So here's the thing: is I'll play it, and those listening now will be able to listen to it. But I guarantee it that when the show ends, Facebook will mute the song.
So fuck
yeah, they do that shit. Oh, they do that shit all the time. Okay, so here's here's Oakland Zone. Is that it?
No,
that's the wrong tune.
Yeah, page 1. That's the Oakland Zone. Page 1.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Got to get back to page 1. You must remember where you came from. Got to get back to page 1. You got to know where it's coming from. There's no second chance to make a first impression, so I'm afraid you're stuck unless you find a new form of expression. You just might be out of luck. There's no right way to do the wrong thing. What's been done is done. But if you want a brand new start, you gotta get back to page 1. Get back.
Okay, so listen. So I got to tell you,
that's some funky shit, man.
That is some funky shit.
That's stanky, man.
Man,
that's just when I joined the band, we were doing that tune. I was going like, heck yeah. Yeah.
So everybody, all the people listening, I want to say this because I said this to Emilio, and I know I said this to you on one of our shows, that one of the most iconic sounds of Tower of Power is not only the grooves and the songs and the horns, but Emilio's voice. And when you listen to those background vocals, Emilio's voice is it just stands out like a sore thumb to me. It's like I hear it, and that to me says Tower of Power.
I agree. Absolutely.
Like and all the backgrounds, man.
Also the horn section wouldn't sound the same without his tenor voice in it.
I mean his vocals, his vocal voice.
I know you're talking about his vocal voice. I agree. And he sings a song on the Soul Side of Town. There's a song called Selah on the Soul Side of Town, which he sings, which is my kind of my favorite tune off the Soul Side of Love. I love that tune. I love the lyric. I love what the message it sends. I think it's a really good tune. You can play a little bit of it. He sings it, and he wrote it with his friend, I believe, Mark Dolan. Him and Emilio wrote that tune.
Which title?
Selah, Selah, Selah.
Here it comes.
Selah, 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 Selah. I was on my merry way to the happily ever after. I thought I had it all figured out. Then pain replaced the laughter. Like a bull in a china shop, I destroyed everything I'd see. Ow, I had to learn it the hard way. I'm not the master of my destiny. 'Cause it all comes crashing down. Forced to face defeat. Is it time for flight? Stand My friends tried to warn me. I was just too blind to see. I was bound and determined, and as wrong as I could be. Well, thought I knew what I had to do. I was sure I would have it all. Oh, it hit me like a ton of bricks. Pride goes before the fall. 'Cause it all comes.
Okay, so
what do you think that's?
You know, what do I think that song's about? You know, I wasn't really listening to the words all that much.
Kind of about hitting bottom.
You know, well, speaking of hitting bottom, and I'll just mention this to those of us that are in knowledge of this. At midnight tonight.
Really, tonight? 40
midnight.
40? So that makes
47.
So you're actually 75 years old then.
Well, no, yeah, yeah. The January.
I mean, who at 62 has 43? That's just unbelievable.
Yeah,
numbers don't compute.
They don't. Well, yeah. When you pop out with an alcohol problem. Yeah, January 23rd.
Anyway, you know, if you listen to the words of that song, you'll really relate to that. And it's funny too, because I like the, you know, I think we all know that Emilio's a devout Christian, and that's, you know, kind of he's a devout Christian. That's what I would say about that. But you know, because I've read the Bible, some of the Bible, but he's pretty versed in the Bible. He's really studied it. And apparently that the word Selah appears in the Bible many times as a salutation of kind of just giving it up to the Lord. Selah. It's just kind of like que sera, sera. Whatever will be, will be. You know, it's like that's. He actually couldn't actually define what that word means, but because it's kind of a word that appears in the Bible, it's undefined. I should ask my brother Stephen, who you know, who is actually a Bible scholar. So I should really call him. I mean, Stephen is definitely a Bible scholar.
And he lives in Phoenix now, right?
Yeah, he's a photographic memory, so he can virtually quote you the Bible verse and chapter, both the Old and New Testament. Did you know he has photographic memory?
I now that you mentioned it, it's sort of coming to me, but
yeah, he does. He has a photographic memory.
So for anybody, if they don't remember, Tom and I lived with Tom's family for a while when I first got off the circus. So
he's a part of the family.
Yeah.
Jeff was Politzer.
I was born was born in Nebraska, but I really was meant to be in California, and I went there.
Well, basically all the Nebraska's pretty much been kind of weeded out of you now.
Yeah.
But you were in Nebraska when I met you.
Yeah, you know, I don't have any real intentions of ever going back to Nebraska.
It was cool because I think my early memories of you is you were just a little bit unworldly.
A little bit.
Yeah, you were a bit unworldly. It wasn't that you were cool. Well, you were totally cool, but I think there's probably the things you were exposed to on TV and in the news at 19 years old. Were you 20 when you joined? So 21.
Well, so I just briefly, I quit high school when I was 15. I went on the road.
News and media and stuff compared to my world of being the youngest of four boys and growing up with a dad who was a Stanford professor,
right?
And who also traveled around the world 3 times before I was 18.
Right.
Completely different experience.
Completely, because my world was just that Midwestern thing. You know, it was just there, and no experience of anything outside of that.
I remember being 12 when my parents took me on this amazing trip.
So,
Bertha, what time is it in Germany, Bertha? God
what's that?
dang. How's your daughter?
How's my what?
Her daughter. Bertha made me, by the way, I'm going to show you this. Bertha made, I don't know how she did it. I'll be back.
Okay.
I'm burning candles. I'm burning candles right now. And I don't know if I can ever burn this candle because Bertha made candles for us. I still have the wrapper on. And this has a really great picture of me. I don't know how you do that. So that's a candle and I'm afraid, like, is this the opposite of the picture of Dorian Gray? Like, if I burn this candle, my ability to play the saxophone will diminish as the candle burns down. Or maybe it'll get better. What did you do? But anyway, it's beautiful. I still have it. It's sitting right up here with my little mantelpiece where I have all my memorabilia. And I love this candle. And she made this for the guys in the band. It's just amazing.
So, Bertha did that?
I really appreciate this.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I really appreciate this. This candle is amazing. Oh wait, I forgot. On the back side, she put the picture of us at Royal Albert Hall.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I mean, you guys have seen this picture on my Facebook page. So, but I don't know if I can ever burn this candle. Berta, can you make me a second candle like this, one that I can burn, so I can never burn this one? Because I can't burn this candle. I mean, how can I burn that candle?
No, you can't. I'd never do it. I would.
I mean, I might one of these days. I might unwrap it, but it's got, I don't know.
It's pretty cool.
It's got the wrapping and everything on it. I mean, fans give you stuff, but this is one of the coolest things I've ever gotten. Is this candle?
Really cool.
That's a cool candle. I mean, I dig that. So thank you, Bertha.
When I go to Germany, I want Bertha to let me stay at her house. She lives in Germany, right?
Yes. Let me see. We were playing near Mainz. We live near Mainz. And then we were playing, I have to look up. I have some great video I should put up. What was the town we played north of Mainz? Just so for those of you who haven't been to Germany, I've been to Germany so many times. Germany is a great piece of real estate. That's what I like to say. There's so much of Germany that is just beautiful country, hills and architecture and they're all of Europe has so much beauty, but Germany's got Germany into Austria, Switzerland, northern Italy, parts of southern France. A lot of France in the north is kind of flat and rolling hills, so it's not quite as interesting. Really beautiful towns though, but Germany's got all these rolling hills and meadows, and a forest pops up, and I just seen Germany through the top part of a tour bus for years and years over and over again, and I just sit there and go like, it's beautiful, man. Especially the Black Forest and more like probably south of from Cologne down south. I think it's more interesting topographically as far as hills and mountains and streams and forests. Yeah, it's great. The people are great. The food's great. If you like beer, the beer is phenomenal.
That's one, I never liked the taste of beer. I only liked.
You froze up on me, right?
Well, my monitor to you froze up.
Oh, okay.
Everything is still fine. If you look up in the live program feed, you still should be able to see a little picture of me a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So 2 hours away from Mainz, Berta. In which direction? I could get
2 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 hours from mine.
So Dennis
is here.
Hey Dennis, for everybody that was watching, and
yes,
and we
I do
crashed.
remember in Berlin. I do remember. Sorry to interrupt. You asked me a question.
Oh, okay. So our show crashed.
Call us, man. Call in, Dennis.
And Bill McCubbin is watching. You remember that the show I did with Bill McCubbin, and he was playing bass with Bobby Darin.
Yeah.
And one of the best interviews, that the coolest moments was listening to him talk about his relationship with Bobby Darin. And you remember we talked about that. But probably one of the funniest shows I ever did was Fred Ross lives out in the sticks, but he doesn't live far in the sticks as Bill McCubbin lived. And Bill McCubbin and I were trying to get a connection one day, and we couldn't do it. And it was going live, and you could see his screen freeze up and mine would freeze up. And it was one of the best comedy shows. After 40 minutes, it was unbelievable. We finally got it back. We're talking for like 30 minutes, and then somebody texts us and says, you have no audio.
Oh, shit.
It was one of the funniest shows. Anyway,
call Dennis Moody. I keep telling him to call in.
So Dennis is living at his home out in Palm Springs, or Joshua Tree, close to Joshua Tree, and he has some really cool pictures that he posts on Facebook all the time. And and Toby Simmons. So hey Toby watched that show I did with Bill. It was actually pretty funny. Bill is a pretty funny guy. So Dennis said he's going to call in 1 minute.
Yeah, I saw that. So you weren't on the circus when we recorded the shows.
No, Dennis, that was after I was there.
So you know that Dennis recorded all that stuff.
Yeah.
At Paramount Recording Studios. And those. I mean,
okay, here we go. Okay, hello?
Hey, Jeff.
Dennis.
What's up? Wie geht's? Was ist los?
Sehr good, Dennis. What's los? Hey, Dennis.
We had a great hang in Berlin after our played at where'd you play? The Quasimodo, I believe it was. The great famous Quasimodo. And afterwards, so I was working about 3 blocks from there at a theater for 5 years. I lived in Berlin for 8 years.
Wow, I didn't know that.
We went to this little bar that we used to hang out, and they started jamming. About 4 or 5. Lee Thornburg was there, I remember. And they called the police, and the police came about 3 in the morning. Oh, no, it was at your hotel. Do you remember that, Tom?
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, they called the police. So then we went to the other bar because Berlin's 24-hour city. So we drank till the sun came up.
I hadn't seen.
Had a really fun hang.
Sure.
That was 1994.
Oh,
hey, I still have the. I still have the mirror from Paramount Studios when we're recording circus stuff.
That's right. That's right. Jim Miller. That's right. The circus market.
That mirror just sat out there for, that's dark days. But hey, I'm just amazed when I watched. Let me tell you, and for those of you out there who don't know who Dennis Moody is the greatest friend a musician could ever have, because he's one of the greatest studio engineers, live mixers in the business. And by the way, the Gadashian stuff kills me. the Gaddafi stuff, and you got to work with Steve Gadd and with that crew of nut jobs. Some of the best, the greatest. Obviously, all just must be a riot to hang out with all those guys. Because I know Walt. Walt's the only guy I've ever met in that crew, and I met Steve Gadd, but I met Walt a little bit, and I know you.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And Steve and
Jimmy
used to play in Circus Vargas band.
And it's just
remember that?
Say that again.
Let's see, some of the people that played in that band with you: Joe Farrell, Bruce Fowler,
Steve
Fowler.
Oh, with the circus band. Yeah.
Yeah, the circus band.
That's right.
Back in the early 80s, and on tour they do 3 shows a day, 7 days a week, except 2 shows on move day. Get a hotel room. 8 guys would sleep on the floor. Remember that?
Well, I don't remember splitting a hotel room, but I don't remember 8. I remember 4. But yeah, I remember some crazy. I mean, we were like 22 and trying to save money.
That's right. Prince Robinson.
That shit's easy to do. That shit's easy to do when you're 22 years old.
Oh, man, that was a while ago. Those were the days. I will never trade them for anything.
And you're living now out in Palm Springs?
No. I have I got a little weekend getaway house out here in Joshua Tree, actually Yucca Valley. But with the COVID, I've been out here since almost a year now, staying away from downtown LA, where my little apartment is in my studio. I go in about once a month and, do a little work. Can't wait for us to get going again. And I thank Jeff for doing this again to keep us all, up to date and socially interacting again. Thank you, Jeff. This is an incredible webcast you do. I really was happy to see you back.
Oh, thanks, Dennis. And
hey, Dennis, John Worley talked about doing a big Zoom hang between like all the people from the circus. Would you want to be in on that? We're going to get you and
absolutely. Yeah. Number, he's going to send it off to you. So was that your number I called?
No, that's me. The number you called is
that's Jeff. Though.
Jeff.
Yeah, Tom. Jeff can give you my number when you're ready to do that. I would love to be a part of it.
Yeah, that'd be so much
too.
I just want to say, I had Dennis on my show in the green room last year. And one of the coolest stories he told me was his first live sound gig he did at Madison Square Garden. He's like, one day he was in the studio and they said, okay, you want to go do our gig? And like 2 days later, he was mixing at Madison Square Garden. And
Johnny Guitar Watson.
I'm
like, holy shit.
Let me say something about both you guys.
1977.
Wow.
So I can't remember, Dennis. I just want to say something about both you guys. Seriously. Dennis was the first engineer. Now, Dennis, I don't remember if you played music or played an instrument growing up, or did you? I don't remember that part.
No.
But that's not necessarily important. What I remember about Dennis Moody when we first worked recording with him, and we had just this massive amount in the circus, we had this massive amount of music we had to record in a short amount of time. And we had to record it fast in between doing shows. And we had to like do double duty. We had to do shows and come in at night and record for, and get, we're young when we're sleeping 2, 3, 4 hours a day and doing both. And I just remember like Dennis hears music like a musician hears music, like he was playing it himself. That's why Dennis is so successful. And
Thank you.
yeah,
Yeah.
when you transition from drummer to being a sound man, you have the same skills and the same ears.
Yes.
I mean,
That's Billy Cobham's fault. I saw Mahavishnu Orchestra, front row center, Santa Monica Civic, 1971, and I said, I don't want to do that. I want to play like Ringo. You know, it's just simple. Can I do 4/4? No, this is a 5/4. Sorry, you lost me. Okay, I'll be an engineer and producer. And I actually saw Billy Cobham came to dinner with us in Switzerland when I was there with Randy Brecker or Stern. Mm-hmm. And I told him that story. I said, I owe you so much gratitude for getting me to quit the drums and become an engineer. Thank you, Billy. And he was cracking up about that story. It was pretty funny. Anyway, all the good old days.
Man,
I don't think you know what I said about Jeff, though. It's like, you know, Jeff has become an engineer and he's got the same ears. He just got into it later in life than you. But, you know, I mean, Jeff.
We had a little bit of tech talk when we had our interview. We talked a little bit about tech and how fun it was to do live gigs, budget live gigs.
Yeah.
There's always a story with those.
I picked Dennis's brain on quite a few things. You know?
we had a lot of fun. Yeah.
So Dennis, if you had your druthers right now, would you rather just have a bunch of really great stuff lined up to record in the studio, or do you think you'd kind of prefer to go mix a great musician live on the road? What's kind of more gets what?
Both. The both. The studio is so great because the creativity level and stuff, and getting involved in the creating of music and sonically creating, but traveling. Oh my God! Last time I was on an airplane was February 15th, 2022. 2020. I haven't been on an airplane. Usually I'm 100,000 miler, like you probably were. You know, all those. I haven't been on a plane and last year, 2 years ago with Keiko Matsui, I got to go to Uzbekistan, Kazakhstan, Azerbaijan. I mean, these places you don't even know exist. They're so cool, you know. And you go, oh my gosh, this is Kuwait. I was in Kuwait 4 or 5 years ago, and you can't beat that experience.
I've wanted to go to Azerbaijan and Kazakhstan, but we didn't get there, but we did get to Georgia and we did get to Turkey.
Yeah, I've been there 3 times. I was there.
Here's most people. Tbilisi is beautiful, man. What a wonderful town.
Yeah.
City. I mean,
very much.
I mean, it's completely. I think I'd like to put it on the roadmap of everybody listening to like Google Tbilisi, Georgia, the country of Georgia, and look where it is, and do the satellite photo. And it's mountainous, and it's got this great history, and it's got great food, and and I have a great picture. My favorite picture from Tbilisi is a restaurant that has a sign out that says Caucasian food.
I have to see that. That's pretty funny. That's great. You go to the hot springs, take that cable car ride over the river.
I did that cable car ride. I have a video I can post. I should post that video. But here's the thing: is Caucasian. There's a mountain range there called the Caucasian Mountains.
Caucasus.
Yes. Yeah, that's part of. You know. I'm not sure how that relates to being a white person and that we're Caucasians. I'm not sure the etymology of the word, but
you have to Google it.
Yeah,
that's a trip. We drove from Tbilisi to Yerevan, Armenia. It's 107 miles, and the roads are pretty bad. And I go, we'll probably be there. Even if it's bad, it'll take 3 hours. It took us 8 hours.
Where did you drive? 8 hours, and where from Tbilisi to where?
Yerevan, Armenia.
And 8 hours. 8 hours.
Yeah, 107 miles. Takes 8 hours.
Oh,
The road is so bad, you can't go more than 15 or your car will fall apart and just break apart. It's beautiful, though. It's just such a beautiful, even the way we drove at night, but, with the lights, we can still see it around. You go through these little tiny villages. It's directly south, and it's near the road goes near that area where they had this war problems with Armenia and Azerbaijan about 5 or 6 months ago. The road goes right by there, and there's a big lake, and it was pretty incredible. We had three cars in our caravan driving down, and it was quite an experience. But back to your original question, if you get stuck in the studio, you don't get to experience those kind of travels. So I'm pretty sure that you agree. Have you been to Cuba?
no, I missed that. I want to go.
Dennis, you were there with Dave Weckl, right?
Yes, 2 years ago, almost to the day. 2 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
And then it got cut. The access to Cuba was cut about a week after we got back. They said no more Cuba. So we're talking. I talked to Dave's PR guy last week, and we were trying to see if we can make it happen again next year. It's a great time to go. If you ever want to go to Cuba, go in January because it's not too hot, not too humid, not too crowded.
We have a really great new manager. Really excited. We were all really excited about our new management, and I'm going to tell him that to get us to Cuba because I know I'm pretty sure.
The deal is right now is you can't exchange money, so you just have to go. We went, and then Dave went to the music schools and watched the kids play. Oh my God, some of these kids are just mind-blowing great musicians. They're like in the state music school. So we went to about 2 or 3 of those, and then Dave sat in, and we go to lunch, and there'd be a little band in there, and then Dave would sit in with the house band at the restaurant, and it was really fun, really exciting, for everybody. Yes, try and see if you can arrange that. Even if it's an exchange kind of thing. It's so much. It's such a cool place.
Hey Tom, I've got a great idea. So I know you've already got your front of house, Jerry, good front of house guy, and you still got your I went blank on your monitor guy, but this is what I would suggest. Posse is you have Dennis run front of house and me do monitors, and then we'll go to Cuba with you.
Yeah, I like that idea. And you let your house guy, your current front house guy, he can be the tour manager because of course all of us sound guys love to be the tour manager.
That's right. Jerry can be the tour manager.
That's my favorite thing about being sound guy, being tour manager.
Dennis, have you ever heard of Jerry Manuel? So Jerry Manuel's our friend.
I don't know. I can't say I know.
Jerry started back a long time ago. He was front of house for Little Feat, and then he moved to front of house. He did all the big Huey Lewis and the News tours in the 80s. He was front of house for Huey Lewis and the News. And then after that, he was with the Neville Brothers and Dr. John. He's a Southern boy from New Orleans. Did Neville Brothers, Dr. John. When we had him, he was subbing for Mike Droker, great front of house guy. But then we asked Jerry to come and do monitors after he'd been doing front of house for like 30 years. And he was like, really, he's going like, I don't know if I don't remember how to do monitors, but he ended up being a great monitor engineer. And he did monitors for us for like 4 or 5 years. And then now he's moved back to front of house. And, we have gigs. And I just thought maybe you guys had run into each other because he's kind of got a lot of great, he's worked with a lot of great artists and,
I may have seen him. Yeah, I may have seen him across the road because I've done, co-bills and opening acts for like the Neville Brothers and some bands. So very, very good. I've probably met him.
Jerry is 5'2". So you might remember.
Maybe I didn't see him because I was. I'm 6'6", you know. So I didn't.
Well, here's the thing. What? Let me tell you a story.
No, I've.
When they were,
it's all ears. 5'2" of ears.
Well, let me tell you a story. So when Jerry was with Huey Lewis in the News, they were doing a hang, and they were all getting, drinking too much and smoking too much, and they came to think like nicknames like, Huey's number 1, Johnny Coler's number 2, Bill Gibson's number 3, and they're going down the tower horns, giving everybody numbers as their nicknames. And Jerry goes like, what about me, man? And Huey looks at Jerry and he goes like, you're 0.5.
That's
and
really funny.
So we still call him 0.5. We still call him.
Yeah.
No.
Unfortunately, I got a bolt. Sorry, I gotta take care of some things here before it's supposed to snow here on Sunday, which is going to be really cool. I'm going to try and post some desert pictures of Joshua trees with the snow. It's a 60% chance it's going to snow here on Sunday, so I will post some pictures, Jeff, so you can see those. And Tom, you can get my number from Jeff and call me anytime. Great catching up with you guys. Thank you again for doing these again. I really enjoy them, and it's such a great service to our music community and all of us for keeping us all networked and together and entertained.
Okay,
Tom, thank you.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
You got it, Tom. I'll see you. Keep in touch, please.
All right.
Love you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Dennis Moody, man. Jam.
All right. Well, Tom.
Yeah, is the time?
Well, we've been an hour and a half. We did an hour. The thing crashed. We're back. We've been back on for 30 minutes.
It's so nice to talk to Dennis. It's been since I.
Yeah, he's a good guy, and he's really, really good drum engineer. Most of the really good drummers in town call Dennis.
You're a good drum engineer too. I think David was pretty happy with you.
Yeah, I'm pretty good about knowing how to get some decent sounds out of drums and what they need. I've actually learned a lot about how to get a different sound in a studio now. The miking techniques are fairly similar, whether it's live or in a studio. But getting good sounds as a sound guy really doesn't have much to do with what we do as a sound guy. It really has a lot to do with the drummer and how he tunes his drums.
Yeah, I agree. It's funny. I've just done a couple of recordings with Roger at Roger's little backyard studio, which has very good equipment, Pro Tools, and Roger I've done 2 sessions with Roger, and he has recorded my sound as good as exactly how I want to sound.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a studio engineer. He's a musician who has gear and has good ears. And I said, what did you do? And he said, I didn't do anything. I just set the mic in neutral and you just played into it. And that's how you sound. And I go like, I just realized I hate, I'm very, very sensitive to compression. Like people put on the compressor. And for those people that don't know what a compressor is, a compressor is a device that takes you, like when you're playing into a microphone and you have a large dynamic range, meaning a large range from how soft you play to how loud you play. And they're afraid that when you play really loud, you're going to hit the level to where the meter is going to the red and you start to distort. So they put this compressor on you to kind of limit that ceiling. But the problem is, when you start getting close to that ceiling and the compressor clicks in, it takes your sound and it does this to it. It compresses it compresses it. Why would you, if somebody has a big tone, why would you want to compress that big tone? I would rather somebody say you're playing too loud and you're distorting, or like I can work the microphone. I can pull back away from the microphone and play loud and get that big sound without overloading the meters. I can do that, and I can hear it in my earphones because I also hear the compressor kicking in. It's just, it drives me freaking crazy, and I hear guys doing it and stuff I recorded where, and there's some stuff on some tower stuff recently that I go like, that's not my sound, and it's really annoying.
Yeah, you know, compression.
Because it's just, to me that's like the most personal thing about my playing is my tone and my way I phrase, because I'm not Michael Brecker, I'm not Chris Potter, but I do sound unique. I sound unique. Nobody sounds like me. And then when you squelch my tone, you're taking away one of the things that makes me sound unique and that I can be proud of. That makes me, so anyway, it's just, but I love that recording with Roger, and I'm just going to be really on it from now on. And I've learned this also from Brandon Fields. I mean, Brandon's really a stickler when somebody doesn't record him right.
Oh man, and yeah,
and he's right, because Brandon has the most beautiful saxophone tone on every instrument he plays.
Right.
Soprano, tenor, barry. He sounds amazing on all 4 instruments. He's just got a freaking gorgeous tone, and it's just, I've heard stories, and I've talked to him personally. He goes, yeah, I get really mad when they don't record me right. I bring my mic in and I have him do this stuff, and I've heard him stories how he gets, kind of adamant about, you're not recording me correctly. And,
well, it's that. It's the same live too. I did sound a couple of times, and Brandon was on a gig, and he bring his own mic, and I would really do nothing to his mic. I would just make it flat, maybe just a smidge of compression, but not a lot, and just let his sound come out. I mean, there no EQing or anything really, and his sound was fine. Their compression can be a friend, but
place for it.
Yeah. But I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot about all that stuff. So actually, this is one thing that I started thinking about is I want to do a show with Tower of Power's complete rhythm section.
I can make that happen for us. Well, as long as I can participate.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Is like, what if we get on and we get Mark and Jerry and Dave?
Do you have that
and Roger?
Technology to do that?
I do.
Oh, good. And okay, good. We have the bandwidth and all that shit.
Yep. Okay. And we'll just do the whole rhythm section.
You want to start? I'm not ready to commit to doing this every week.
Oh no.
But I'm ready to do. I really would enjoy doing. I think every other week. And what about moving it to Saturday night instead of Friday night? And the only reason I say that is completely selfish. And here's my selfish reason: is Friday tends to be, if the weather is good, is a golf day, and I come from golf, and usually I come from golf. I kind of cook my meal and shower, and I kind of just am tired. And Saturdays, I generally don't play weekend golf because the courses are really crowded, and there's a lot of people that don't know what they're doing.
What about maybe a Sunday afternoon or something?
Sunday afternoon's great. Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays and Sundays are non-golf days for me in general, because they charge more, and it's more crowded, and it's just not more crowded, but it's more crowded with more people who are learning to play the game. A lot more people are learning to play the game, and I'm all for that, them learning to play the game. But I just don't need to be on the golf course and play around in 5 or 6 hours.
Yeah.
The problem is I get slow.
All right. Well, I'll send an email to all the guys and you two, and we'll run it by them if they would want to do a.
Sorry about my golf diatribe. Sorry I did that. Sorry.
And then that would be fun. I'd like to do more group things. The other thing that I wanted to do was maybe do, you talked about doing a circus thing with Dennis, but what I'd like to do as well is do like a group of sax players. Like, it would be kind of cool to do like you and Brandon and Bob and George Shelby and
So
a group of guys. And I thought about maybe even doing a group of trumpet players with Wayne and Rick Baptist and some stuff like that. Like doing some group stuff. So
I'd be watching that.
yeah, you know what I mean. I mean, that would be because the one-on-one stuff is good too, but it's also fun if you get a group of guys and you get the whole personality and everything going. And
So, I gotta tell a musician joke now.
okay.
So, how many saxophone players does it take to change a light bulb?
3.
No, it's just one, but it'll go through about 20 or 30 light bulbs till he finds the one that works right for him.
Oh my God, that's Todd Dickow. Todd Dickow is the worst guy with reeds.
So how many trumpet players? So yeah, you're correct. You got the analogy. It's about the reeds. So how many trumpet players does it take to change a light bulb?
Now that one I'm not so sure about.
Well, it's still just one, but I guarantee you there'll be at least 12 or 20 people, other trumpet players, standing around saying how they would have done it differently.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
That's kind of an insight. Yeah, that's kind of, I enjoy that joke.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, you know what? It's kind of fun getting back into it a little bit and conversing with musicians again.
It's the first social, I haven't been social in a long time. I mean, it's funny because, I see people texting. I just feel like I went out tonight. It's crazy.
Yeah. It's really nice.
Jocelyn Gillespie's here. Hi, I know these people. Everybody, Toby, Max. I know Max Gutierrez. Florenta, I've seen your Facebook post many times. I think we might meet. I'm not sure we met. Kathy, of course, in Florida. You're still up. What are you doing up?
So I've also come to know Kathy as what's that?
Go on.
Kathy,
I'm sorry,
Kathy N. I've come to know her as Kat.
I mean Kathy Couric.
Yes.
And
well, here's the thing: is I'm not so sure if I can do like set days and lots of
let's load it.
Yeah, so I'm just going to kind of randomly do some things. Now, I mentioned to you that the Yellow Jackets guys had agreed to do a show together, but them around their school because Russ and Will and Bob all teach at USC, right? Mm-hmm. So, trying to work around all that stuff, but that would be fun to do a Yellow Jackets thing. Here's another joke. How many singers? Where'd it go? I lost it. How many singers does it take to change a light bulb? 1. He stands there and lets the world revolve around him. Oh, well. I don't want to get started on singers. Singers don't necessarily like me sometimes. I
think that.
What's that? Good. Okay, so I was doing sound. I'll tell you how.
I got a joke.
You have a joke?
Yeah, well, it's not. Singers won't like this joke, but it's so there's this really great keyboard player, like so many musicians that never become famous, but they deserve to become famous. This guy was an amazing jazz pianist in New York City, and he played with like backed up all the great players. You know, he was a really young cat. He got to play with Parker, but Parker's last years, and Miles. All these guys knew him. He just never, he scraped out a living, never became famous, but he was like as a greatest piano player, and he lived a great life. And he passed on. And he gets to the pearly greats, and St. Peter goes like, we've been watching you, and he goes like, we're going to reward you in heaven. He says like, you get to lead your own band here in heaven, and you can have a big band, a small group, or all of it. And you can have we got John Coltrane, we got Thelonious Monk's up. I mean, we have Mingus. I mean, anybody you want is up here. And he goes, wow, that's amazing. So I think, yeah, train stuff. He goes, oh, one thing though, there's just one catch. And he goes, well, what's that? He goes, well, God knows this chick singer. You get it, right?
Yeah. 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 Okay.
I don't know if everybody else would get that joke, but.
Oh, man. Yeah. All right. So,
but they just put it up there all the time. It's like, yeah, I got this friend. He or she, they sing really, really great, and they sit in with you. And I go like, and it's just like, it's funny because the criteria for what people think is a great singer, like your friends and stuff, if that person played saxophone the way they sang, well, you might think the same thing. I don't know. That might mean not a good comparison. But I mean, it's just like, I don't know. It's just here's the thing: is Whitney Houston, Aretha Franklin, Lady Gaga was great with the national anthem the other day, I thought. I mean, these are good singers. Mariah Carey is a really good singer. Despite anything else, I mean, but Britney Spears is not a great singer.
You know who really impressed me was Demi Lovato.
Who?
Demi Lovato.
I don't know who that is.
She really did. What was she sang? "Lovely Day" on the.
I don't know this.
Look it up. She's much better than
Demi or Danny?
Demi
Lovato.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Spanish.
She got her start on the Disney Channel on Disney. She did a Disney movie, and she started singing, and and now she sounds really good. I'm really surprised. But there's a handful of singers that are really like Whitney, man.
Well, there's a lot of people that have good voices who can sing in tune technically correctly. And the thing about singing is, if you just sit there and sing, here's the thing is your vocal cords, you're born with them. You grew up talking, maybe you grew up singing at a young age. It's a thing that's inside your body. It's right here in your throat. And so you can sing and carry a tune. But it's an instrument that really, there is a whole science behind learning how to play this instrument in your throat. And some people do naturally do it correctly and maximize that. Plus, the other part is just style and learning styles and having your own style, not copying. We all copy styles as we're learning how to play our instrument. I did it like crazy. I copied David Sanborn. I copied Michael Brecker. Crazy. I mean, at the point where for a while I was doing it too much, but it developed into something because I don't listen to them like I did back in the 90s. I think that singers fall into this trap. I think that's the best way to put it. Into this trap of they can just do it because it's part of their body. They didn't have to learn to play this foreign thing, like a saxophone or trumpet or guitar or bass or drums. These are foreign instruments that are outside your body. The vocal cord, you just sit there and you sing. And if you happen to have a knack for it a little bit, a lot of people say, "Oh, you're a really great singer." And I think there's a whole, the whole proliferation. This is just my personal opinion of like The Voice. I would love to be a judge on The Voice, or American Idol, because I loved it when Harry Connick Jr. was a judge on American Idol, because he was the first judge that really gave really good constructive criticism to singers that I generally agreed with 100% of the time. And he acknowledged good singing too. And he coached. There's some great YouTubes of him coaching some singers and getting them to sing better and getting them to realize understanding a song. And there's one great where he's coaching a girl who's singing "My Funny Valentine," and he asks her, he goes, "Do you even know what the song's about?" So it's about someone singing about how much they love someone. And he goes, "No, it's not about that. It's about, this is a big sad song about, of rejection, and understanding the lyrics and the subtext of a song and the whole thing. That's why guys like Frank Sinatra are so great. It's about, the singing subtext."
Well, you know something.
I didn't mean to go off on this whole thing.
Wait. Well, I want to say, so who did you say it was, Tom?
Harry Connick Jr.
Yeah, Harry Connick. That's what I thought. Well, I want to just say, because since I started doing sound, I do sound for a lot of different singers, and a lot of different singers that really think they sound good.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you hear, and then you get somebody like Whitney Houston or Demi Lovato or somebody like that who can really sing, and what a blessing it is to actually mix sound for. You remember the 20 Steps from Stardom or whatever that is, that movie came out with the 4 singers. I did sound for those 4 singers before the Rose Bowl.
Well, I know Lisa Fisher. I also worked, and I know Lisa, and I've also worked with
Darlene Love.
Darlene Love. I've actually backed her up a few times.
Yep. And so here's the thing: when you work with singers like that, and they're
amazing.
I mean, it's like Lisa Fisher, man. It was holy shit. So that makes you understand what it really is to be a good singer. And then all of the other people, the underneath, you go out and you do gigs, and you got these people that come at you with attitude, and you're listening, and you're trying to figure out why the harmonies just sound a little bit off. And then you isolate one voice out and you're like, oh, it's like, it really, to be that great is really hard.
And both Lisa Fisher and Darlene Love are such nice people.
Yeah. And I forget the other lady's name that sang with those, but she played piano out of those 4 girls. But this was really good. So I'm doing sound. She come time. Each one of them did an individual sound check before they came on all together, because they did a solo song. And the gal that she sat down and played piano, and she goes, this is almost reminded me of a Tom, of what you did to me. I need just like a little bit more reverb. And I go, okay. And then she sat there, and before she even sang into the mic again, she said, "Have you changed it yet?" And I thought, oh, so I said to her, "Oh, so you know that trick." Because I'm not singing until you actually change it. And she smiled at me. But it was interesting and that was the one thing, like mixing monitors for you guys, that the subtleties, and when you got guys that really know their craft, and they can say change it, just 1 or 2 dBs, and they know it. and they get the difference. There's a difference between working with people at that level and then all the other people. Just forget it. Don't even try.
Well, it's just when you do it all the time, changes need to be subtle.
Yeah.
I want something to change. It's if I want a big change, I'll say, man, I can't even hear the bass drum. I can't even hear it. It's not non-existent in my ears. So if I say that to you, then you're going to go like, oh, wow, it's non-existent. But if I say I need more bass drum, I'm not saying I don't have bass drum. I'm saying I need a little bit more, and I just would like a little subtle change, like 2 decibels. 1 decibel is hard to hear. 2 decibels I notice, and then I might have you creep up again. And then I've had that trick played on me too before, and I go like, change. Like guys like to turn it up, and then I didn't say it. I just turned it up more, and I know Anthony used to do that to me. He goes like, I just want to make sure you really mean it. When I ask for it, he goes, I just want to make sure you really mean it. I want more of it. And I said, because I'm listening to your mix, and I looked at him and I said, yes, but your mix on those headphones sitting over on the side of the stage does not sound the same as my mix sitting in the middle of the band.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound the same. I'm in the middle of all these instruments playing. You're over on the side of the stage. It doesn't sound the same.
That's right.
I get that.
And one of the things that's always important, like the most fun, for example, the most fun I had mixing monitors with you guys was that one day when I was on the stage, like, 2 feet from Jerry, where I was like part of the band, because then you can actually really feel.
Yeah. I remember. What venue was that?
Oh, it was in Rhode Island, that little tiny theater of about 100 people.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
And one thing that I think a lot of monitors guys,
it's 300 people.
Right. Well, a lot of monitor guys don't do, and this is one thing I don't know if you noticed the first night I came out, I walked out in the middle of the band a bunch of times.
Yeah.
And the reason
Jerry does the same thing. When Jerry Manuel was doing it, he did the same thing.
Yeah, because you want to hear what it sounds like where you're standing, and you want to hear what Dave's hearing. You want to hear what you're hearing, what Doc's hearing. So all that stuff makes it.
You guys have monitor wedges too, especially Dave has monitor wedge. You can actually hear what he's hearing.
Right.
Yeah. With my in-ears, you have to stand there and then punch up my mix, remotely on your in-ears.
Yeah, well, sometimes the monitor guy will bring it up. The one thing that I hate are headphones. Headphones don't really do it justice when you listen to headphones. But
they do.
But sometimes if you're working with a lot of in-ears and you put in some in-ears yourself so you can hear what it sounds like through in-ears, that makes a difference too.
Yeah.
So there's some conversations going about singers that we got on that road about singers.
That's what I think people know when I put on my glasses. I'm looking at the feed here.
Yeah. So Max, I don't want to say names, but stars with letter.
Let me find out how far back is this? What did Max say?
Yeah.
What letter did you start with? I can't find it.
Yeah, he goes, I don't want to name names, but it starts with a letter. And then, usually there was an old joke when I used to work with Max that we'd say, yeah, I don't want to name names, but it starts with the letter Tom Politzer. Yeah, it starts with the letter Tom Politzer. That was always pretty funny. So anyway, so how you doing, Tom? You know what?
I've been going to bed. I've probably fallen asleep before midnight every night. So it's kind of I've kind of 4 really good days of getting my schedule pretty disciplined. And it's only 10. But,
I know my schedule is completely whacked this last week. and then I get up on Sunday mornings. I know this some people don't understand, but if I get up anytime before 11, I feel like I haven't had any sleep. And on Sunday mornings, I still go do the church thing that I've been doing. And
I hope.
What's that?
You get paid for that?
I do get paid for it. You know, it's not a lot of money, but something. I just run the monitors, you know, for their little thing, and then they do a live stream, but they don't put the mix from the board into the stream. They just let the mic from the phone pick it up because that's what they like. But I record the band, so I make a recording. I multi-track it every Sunday, and then I come home and mix it all and give them, you know, they post it on their on the website and stuff. But it gives me something to do. But I have to get up at like 8, and that kills me getting up at 8, man. I'm telling you.
I've been up before 8. I've been up before 8 the last 3 days in a row.
See, that's what kills me, because, you know, I told you the other morning I was up at 4:30 to make sure I saw.
Right. You wanted to see.
Well, I wanted to make sure he got the hell out of town.
You wanted to see, DJT, move back to Florida.
Absolutely. I wanted to see it with my own eyes.
But that was actually really going to happen.
Yeah, and it did. You know,
go down that particular road of conversation.
Don't get me started. You know, anybody who's followed my,
so many things, but we probably have the majority of like-minded people here. But
yeah, you know, when I got Max and Kathy and KJ and Toby and Jocelyn, Pat Boyle, let's see, Harry Zabel. Chris Manners asked a question a few minutes ago. Did you already order the new Epic driver?
You know, if Chris is still on the line, no, I'm got the Maverick. It's working great for me, and I kind of wait every 3 or 4 years to change drivers because they're all great. The thing is that when I look at all the online testing of drivers, all they do now is they're a little bit more forgiving, but they're not any faster. They don't hit the ball farther. The only thing they give you is like more forgiveness, which is great, but I don't need to change drivers. I'm hitting the one I got. And I have a Maverick. I have last year's driver. So, yeah. But my clubs are pretty current.
Let me just say, I want to say one thing, because Harry said that he's up at 5 or 6, but
Harry Kim?
Harry Zabel.
Oh, Harry Zabel.
He says he's up at high. No, Harry Kim, by the way, Toby is on here, said that she met you and Harry out at the thing. Yeah. Hey, so what? Yeah. I don't want to.
When we played our she said hi to us when we were out at Ventura.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you, Toby. That was really great. We were so tired. We had been there since like 9 in the morning. That was that gig was, it was really weird because it was so great. I would say the rehearsals were as fun or more fun than the gig because we were right there at the hotel and they gave us the venue to rehearse at. And it was and we rehearsed for 4 hours and we got to be with each other and really be with each other. And then the day of the gig, we had to get up at 9 in the morning to go down and do a sound check at like 10:30 or 11. And then we had to like wait till like 3 to play our first set. And then a big long wait till 8:30 or 9 to play our second set. And we were just hanging up at like this big, huge, gigantic room that they had, gigantic, with tables and chairs. And that's, other than take a walk on the beach, I mean, that's all that there was. I mean, it was just a huge, long hang. And
Harry's such a great guy.
I would say that the catering and the food was substandard, meaning that it wasn't really, I mean, you get munchies and stuff, but it really, really wasn't healthy food. to have, and you're sitting there. I mean, at one point, I laid down on the floor, rolled up a sweater behind my head and took a nap on the floor of the carpet. It's just like, it was not very glamorous. It was a long day. It was a long day. We really enjoyed once we actually got on stage. We had a ball.
Mm.
Ball. We were just kind of gearing up, but the hang in between was just kind of tiring, to be out there all day.
Well, I have two things that I'm thinking right now. First, I want to get this. All of these people that are saying they're up at 4 and 5. I'm not up at 4 and 5 because I'm getting up at 4 and 5. I'm up at 4 and 5 because I'm still awake and not been to bed yet. That's different.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna get up at 4. I'll be up at 7. Jocelyn, you're up at 4 a.m. Wait, so Jocelyn is in Oregon, I think.
No, she's in Phoenix.
Go to bed, girl. You're up.
Right.
It's 10 o'clock, 10, 12. You're going to get up at 4 a.m. God bless you. You can live on 5 or 6 hours of sleep.
I never asked you, but how's Sal?
Last time I talked to Sal, he was starting to feel better. He had a little bit of vertigo thing happening, and that was like that was like 5 weeks ago. So I need to I haven't checked in with. Our last Zoom meeting was like 2 weeks ago, so that was last week. We had a group check-in, and I should let me see who I talked to. I talked to Adolfo and Roger frequently, and Dave and Mark next semi-frequently. Jerry and me text at least once a month.
Yeah.
Well, me and Jerry have known each other for over 30 years, though. So we're like,
yeah, that goes way, way back.
Yeah, me and Jerry go way back.
All right, so
yeah, and Doc and me connect. I need me and Doc are due for a phone call.
Hey, what do you think? Well, no, I'll ask you this.
Doc, will Doc come on and do this?
Yeah,
probably.
It might be kind of fun.
Doc's always fun. Doc's salt of the earth, man. Doc's the best.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got. We'll do the rhythm section. It would be kind of cool to do the whole horn section.
Yeah, that would be harder because me and Doc. Yeah, that'd be harder.
Yeah,
we could get me and Dolpho and Sal. We could get like an alumni horn section together. That might be fun. We could have, Dave Mann, and Norbert, and Brandon Fields, John Scarpula. Lee Thornburg.
It was just like 3 blocks from me.
Greg Adams.
Greg. That would be fun. It would be fun. Yeah.
That would be, So that we'll see if all those things could be possible.
Yeah.
In the next, because I'm pretty sure I've got I'm very confident I have another 3 months before I'm even going to think about getting to do anything. But that's being optimistic.
Yeah.
3 months playing a gig is really optimistic. 6 months, maybe. January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, maybe July, August. We'll see.
The couple of things that I have are that I've been able to get for work has been not really doing live sound, but just like setting shit up for people. That's really the only work I have. A couple of things here and there. It's like that shopping center thing. All I really do is go over and set some stuff up and then just take it down. I'm not really.
Who turns it? Who runs it?
There's nothing to run. When they have stuff, it's a DJ.
Okay.
Right. So the DJ just comes and turns it on, and I set it at a volume and it just stays. And then I go out and I take it down. So there's no real work that I'm doing other than the Sunday morning thing. But you know, I would love to go and do some live gigs. This is one thing that I have learned that I will about myself is like, I don't care if I ever play drums again. I don't care. It's not a passion. But the one thing that I really know that I enjoy doing is I love setting up sound and doing sound for live bands, for live performances. I love that. And my jollies is I'll never forget the clusterfuck we had at Brooklyn Bowl. And I finally got your horn working. Yeah. And I finally got your horn working. And when you looked over at me and said, give me that, I was like, you know, that to me was like a jazz gig. It's like, whoa, you know, when you did that to me, you know, so doing sound, I love doing that. And I don't know when it will be before I'll be able to do anything at any kind of substantial level. Oh, you got it going. Which one is that?
Well, I just thought I didn't mean to interrupt you. This is the one candle that's still doing good here.
Oh, mine's almost out.
Yeah.
Okay. So Steve DiGiulio.
Oh, there's Steve. Did you just say something?
No, Kathy said something to him.
Bump City in July. Yeah, no. I just talked to Roger yesterday about that. You know what he thought, and I said, you know, July outside of Bump City is possible. I said, and I said, but I also said, why are you asking me? He goes, well, I just want to know what you think, and I go like, well, I think it's possible, but I mean, who knows? People ask me this. I get asked all the time. When do you think you guys are going to get to play live again? And I go, when you can go, I can guarantee when you can go to a movie theater with masks on and every other seat is open, definitely there'll probably be some concerts going on by then. There better be.
Well,
when you can eat again in a restaurant inside again,
right.
There will be concerts. But outside concerts in the summer, open air concerts,
right?
I'd like to think that those are going to be happening in the summer.
Those
open air.
Those more than likely will happen. But here's what I know: John Mader was just over the other day. You know, he does Hamilton. My daughter does Chicago on Broadway, and those theaters are looking May or June, if lucky.
Yeah.
Even to think about it, you know, so it's still another 6-7 months down the way before anything indoors will even remotely be thought about. You know,
besides me making that comment about the entertainment industry being hurt as much as anybody, the restaurant industry, and say out anybody who, you know, restaurants are small businesses. They, you know, and all those, you know, all the people who work at restaurants, you know, they don't make a lot of money. I mean, at a good restaurant, they may make comfortable living, paying their rent, and having some extra money, and we all enjoy going to those restaurants. So they need help as much as anything. And just remind y'all to tip your waitress or waiter or server, I should say. Tip your server.
Yeah.
Unless they're just horrendous. If they're completely horrendous, there are exceptions to that rule, but other than that.
Yeah. Okay. So one last question. Well, I don't even think there was ever any talk about anything happening NAMM this year because this
just virtually.
What's that?
Virtually, there's some NAMM stuff happening.
Yeah, there was some virtual stuff, but so all right. Here's what's happening. I'm going to be doing a few more shows here and there. Tom and I are going to get together. We've talked about a couple of different things we'll do with some other people and some other guests. It would be good to get Brandon back on and talk again.
Because he's not doing anything, he might as well talk to us.
You know, we're not going to plan anything specific, but I'll post it. And
Maybe I'll give Brandon a call when we hang up. Just a quick one.
Yeah.
Because it's still early, although I'm starting to fade after a minute.
No, actually, my iPad's battery is about to die.
Yeah, my iMac's plugged in, but where's my other? No, I'm still there. I charge up everything before this to make sure I'd have plenty of juice.
So we've done almost 2.5 hours. No, 2 hours and 15 minutes about.
Yeah, with the break. Yeah, that's normal.
A little break. That's pretty normal.
Yeah.
And
usually now Mackenzie comes in, but she must be
at her mom's house. But tonight, yeah.
So when you see Mackenzie, no, seriously, because I already know what the answer is going to be no. But when you see Mackenzie, goes like, "Hey, I had Tom live. He wanted to know if you miss him."
Yeah, no, she'll say, "Who's Tom?" Well, let me just say, everybody that has been tuning in here that knows me and us and the stuff is Mackenzie and I do these drives, and she has grown so much.
15 going on 16.
She's 15
going on 16.
She'll be 16 in July.
That's a huge developmental time for an adolescent to change quickly.
Yes,
from becoming a girl to a young woman, and
she is completely that, and I'm so proud of her. She's 5'8". She's relatively tall, and
above average.
Yeah, and she pretty much has straight A's. She's taken honors classes.
And has she been keeping a good emotional demeanor through COVID? Has she been coping with it?
She's had it's rough for all of them because the way you have to learn is different. And
but all my friends who have kids, all I know is stories.
Right.
And I know that some are doing better than others. That's all I know. Like all of us, actually, they're a reflection of us. Us adults, some are doing better than others.
Yeah. And so, and then we talked about this earlier. The one thing that Mackenzie came home a couple of weeks ago. I mean, she came out, not came home. She come out to me and she said, "Dad, I want you to know, I really like the drives we do. It's really fun. I really like that." And the thing that started happening, I mean, we'd always done the drives, but they became more meaningful when the pandemic hit, and we weren't, we would just go on, and when you go out, there would be nobody out there, and it just felt different. I'm sure everybody watching can relate. Those first 3 months were just so weird and odd with everything. You go out and there wouldn't be anybody